school for making a long story longer. It's going to be really tough for me to keep it for 7 minutes or under, but I'm going to do my best. Unfortunately, my mom got ill over the weekend, and I had to rush to Edison, New Jersey, and take her to the hospital. She's fine now, but it really gave us some time to actually practice for today. We're waiting in the waiting room, and as you can imagine, there's a lot of time on our hand. So she just wants to make some light conversation, so she goes, so how's the new job? Many of you know, about 8 months into the role of the CIO in the city of Philadelphia. And I said, Mom, the job is great. She says, well, what's your title? And I said, well, Chief Innovation Officer. And she goes, well, what is that? And I said, well, that's a good question. I started to think about it. And the best way I could describe it really is I really wear two hats. Looking in, I wear a hat where my goal is to try to simplify government processes, declutter government practices. The mayor has a very ambitious agenda to try to modernize as much of government as possible. He set aside $120 million over the next 5 years so we can modernize as many of the core systems that run government day to day and deliver all the services to the citizens, businesses, and visitors. So my job is to make sure that as every opportunity comes up to modernize a system in government, that we do that based on some very fundamental core principles. One is that we've got to look to the cloud first. Really, the city moving forward wants to own as little as possible of the infrastructure. Just really, it's not a strategic role for us. Number two, we want to make sure that we are buying as much of the software solutions as opposed to customizing them in-house. In fact, we want to resist the temptation of building software solutions that, for the exceptions. And number three, we want to make sure that government processes are really internet-enabled. And that would allow us over time to transition municipal government from transaction to engagement-based government. So that's sort of the role looking in. Looking out, the role is really to try to make sure that, how do we make sure that we bring you closer to your government? And one of the ways to do that is to be more open, more transparent, not only about how we make decisions, but the data that we collect. Government is historically a data-rich entity. Unfortunately, the data sits stale in systems, and sometimes the best way to solve solutions in government is to really liberate that data. Agreeing to basically say that anything that lives in the public domain should be published in a readable format, and that government will always take the time to do the care and feed to make sure that that information always keeps its usefulness. That allows us to do a couple of things. One is it allows us to engage you as the local tech community in helping us solve problems. Number two, it really shines a spotlight on problem areas. Not for anybody to criticize what we do, but rather help us really solve problems. And ultimately, that whole process builds up trust and brings you closer to your government. So if we could do those two roles, if we could play those two roles well and manage them over the next couple of years, I think what we're doing is we're really changing the whole innovation from, innovation is not one person or one entity. Innovation is enabling you, building a framework, liberating data that allows innovation to happen just about anywhere by anyone. And I really believe in that, and I think sometime this week you'll hear our mayor share with you his vision and his plan for making the city of Philadelphia more open. He's going to focus quite a bit on data, and he's going to create a directive for his administration to live with that, to live by that. So I don't want to steal his thunder. I think this is his story to tell, his message to deliver, but it's on many of us to execute. That's all I wanted to share with you. So I'm glad I had the conversation with my mom. So.